I'm Rachael. I'm a behavior analyst and an outreach consultant.
And I'm Sarah, and I'm also a behaviour analyst, and I am head of early years at BeyondAutism. So before we get stuck in, I will just give you a little introduction about what BeyondAutism Early Years is. So we're a support group for children aged 15 months up to 5 years of age. And we're located in Bromley, and we run 2.5-hour sessions where families come and parents attend with their child and they learn alongside them. We focus on learning through play and giving parents tailored support and tailored tools and strategies to support their child's learning at home, whilst also focusing on building parental confidence and resilience.
So today what we're going to do is we're going to explore some practical ways to support your child whilst you're waiting for assessment or some support. Waiting, we understand that waiting can be long, stressful, and very overwhelming at sometimes. But you're not alone. So in England, over 230,000 people are waiting. Over 230,000 people have an open referral for an assessment, and majority of them have been waiting for longer than 13 weeks. And for children and young people, the average waiting time is now over 16 months. And that is much, much longer than the NICE guidelines suggest.
The good news, however, is that you don't need a diagnosis to start helping your child thrive. There are lots of small practical steps that you can take now to support learning, communication, and well-being. And early intervention doesn't have to be formal. It's simply noticing your child's needs and supporting them in everyday life. So the time you spend now supporting your child can still make a real difference. And the earlier you act, the bigger difference you can make.
So today what we'll do is we'll cover 5 key areas today, and we'll give you some tips, some examples, and some ideas that you can start right now. We won't be able to see your messages until the end, so we'll answer any questions at that time.
So I'm going to kick us off with the first one, which you can see on the screen, is connecting through play. So play is a crucial part of early years development. It's something that's included in the early years foundation stage curriculum in the UK and in early years curriculums across the world. If we look at the definition of play, it's basically any activity that is engaged in for enjoyment and recreation. So it's chosen freely by the child, directed personally, and it's intrinsically motivating to them. So essentially, anything your child does for enjoyment. And their way of playing might be unique. It might look slightly different to how other children play or what you had in your head as to what play was. That's okay. In fact, it's not just okay, it's actually something we want to celebrate. Every child's play is valuable and meaningful in its own way. So we can think about how we can get involved in that. So how we can follow our child's interests, how we can use child-led play, and how we can join them where they're at. So we can get down on their level, we can make their activities more fun because we're there. So copying what they're doing, seeing what it is about what they're playing with, that is so fun. Can we take the items they're playing with? Can we model new ways of playing with their favorite or similar items? Something that's really, really important is trying to remove the demands, remove the instructions, remove the pressure. So instead of asking them questions or asking them to copy you, we want to just comment on what we're doing or narrate what is happening. So we're still exposing them to that language, but there's not the pressure to respond. We're not adding to what they need to do. And going back to that definition of play being enjoyable, we want it to be enjoyable. We want to enjoy ourselves while they're enjoying ourselves, and we can do that together. There are certain activities that lend themselves more easily to this style of play. So things like bubbles, balloons, physical play, where the adult is needed to make the things more fun. They can be great activities to start with. So you can be the one blowing the bubbles and they can be popping them, or you can blow up the balloon and watch it whiz around the room, or tickling or throwing or swinging them, going with whatever they like, but thinking how you can make the activity more fun because you're there. And the other thing we want to be thinking about is their sensory needs. So do they have particular preferences or aversions? Is there anything to do with the lighting, the noise in the environment, the textures of the toys we've got? And how can we use these to create an environment that your child loves and they feel comfortable in? Everyone's sensory needs and preferences are different. So we can start thinking about what it is that they like and try and build activities around their preferences. So that's the first one. I'll let Rachael take you through the second one.
So we're going to talk about creating predictability now. So for most people, predictability just provides a sense of safety, and it's how we make the world make sense to us. For many children, knowing what comes next, not knowing what's coming next can be very stressful, and it can make them very overwhelmed as well. So when children know what to expect, their brain and their body is relaxed. And however, when they don't know what's going to happen next, they use a lot of energy to kind of figure it out, and it's easier for them to say no to things or not want to try something new. So building that predictability is simply just giving those gentle signals and patterns that the child can help the child anticipate what's going to happen next. So you can do this by using visual cues. So these can be pictures, photos, or even real objects that tell them what's going to happen next. It could be things like a picture that shows like the snack that's going to be available, or it can even be just setting up the dinner table that signals that dinner's going to happen in a second. Another thing you could use is a now and next board. So these help children to be able to see what's coming up next as well. So not just what they're doing at the moment, but what's also coming up next. And this is especially helpful when they're engaging in a less preferred activity. You can tell them that, yeah, you can do that less preferred activity now, and on the next, it would be a more preferred activity. So they're more likely to be motivated to what's going to happen next. So they're going to want to engage in what's happening now. So it could be something like, we're going to do some tidying up now, and then we're going to go to the garden and play. Another thing to increase predictability is just building routines in their daily life. These usually consist of predictable patterns that happen every time that the children can engage in. So they can begin to learn these patterns, and you'll see an increase in independence in the skills around those routines as well. And it could be something as simple as singing a song, or using short phrases to indicate what's happening next as well. And you can also have like symbols of like a task list of what's going to happen with the routine so that they can understand and follow as well. And then they'll begin to form familiar patterns as well. And they don't really have to think about these things. These are going to be things that they can just keep going with. And it reduces the mental load that they have to think about when they're engaging in these activities. And this will help with communication. So help them understand what's being said, and you're going to be able to explain it to them in a visual way. It helps with independence. So they're going to start practicing those skills that they're using in those routines. It helps with transitions as well. They're going to be able to anticipate what's going to happen, and the carers as well is going to help carers and parents with that transition to make that smoother as well. They're going to be able to have choice as well. So they're going to be able to say, no, I don't want to do that. Or they might be able to say, no, I don't want to do this, but I want to do this instead. And then we also find that it just helps with the overall well-being with the family as well. However, we do know that life with children can be messy. So it's okay if things don't go to plan. If things don't go to plan, remain calm. Children will often mirror our emotions. So if you're calm, they're more likely to remain calm as well. Give advance warning when there is change. So just tell them, I know we usually do shopping and then we go to the park, but today the shops are closed, so we're going to go to the park first. So just give as much advance warning and repeat as much as possible. Use visual cues, even gestures as well, to just tell them what's happening, and celebrate flexibility as well. What we also want to do, we want to help them be able to cope with those small changes. And it's just as valuable as learning these skills as well. So each time your child adapts to a change or unpredictable event, they're building resilience, and they're also building confidence. So it's not about patterns. It is about patterns, but it's not about perfection. We want to make sure those small consistencies make a big difference in their lives. So try and think about what's one thing that you can try and make a bit more predictable in your child's life, and start from there.
Thank you, Rachel. That's so important. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is how we can model and expand communication. Communication is super, super key. At Beyond Autism Early Years, every child has a communication target, and it's something that we focus on throughout the sessions. Communication is so much more than spoken language. So without or before words, children communicate using their faces, hands, bodies. I'm communicating a lot through my hands right now. But yeah, facial expressions, gestures, and body movements are really important for us to be cueing into, but also modeling overtly in our communication to them. So we want to try and respond to all communication attempts, including sounds, gestures, and even looks. So is your child pulling you towards something? Are they taking your hand and leading you somewhere? Are they looking at something they're particularly interested in or something they really don't want to go nearby? What's happening in their body language? Are they trying to say no if they don't want to do something? Are they attempting to say the words, but they're not quite there yet? So all of these things that we can be thinking about whilst they don't have those words yet. We want to be thinking about the language we're using and trying to model as much simple language as we can throughout the day. So obviously when I'm talking right now, I'm talking quite freely, I'm talking a lot, there's a lot of words. When we're talking to them, we want to really strip it back and simplify it. So when we're giving them items, bubbles, ball, balloon, using that one kind of simple keyword, and trying to model the language that's in line with or slightly above their current level. So if they're not yet saying anything, or if they're saying sounds, then we want to use single words. If they're starting to put a few words together, we can model 2 words. And if they're saying short phrases, then we can model simple sentences. So lots and lots of modeling throughout the day. That exposure is really, really key. Another thing we can think about is alternative forms of communication. So you might hear that as AAC, so alternative and augmentative communication. And these are things like sign language, so Makaton signs, visual support, so PECS, which stands for Picture Exchange Communication System, communication boards, where you have lots of different pictures of things that you might be interested in, communication books, and then there's also electronic devices such as iPad applications. There's lots and lots of different options out there, and I think it can be quite overwhelming for a parent when you're navigating that system. So think about your child's skill set. Do they have particularly good motor skills? Are they quite physical, and therefore would sign be quite good for them? Do they gesture a lot or point or use their hands? Do they have strong visual skills? Do they like puzzles or reading books, and actually those kind of more visual communication systems like the communication boards or PECS, they might be really good for those children. Or are they particularly motivated by technology? Actually, can we use their interest in technology to encourage communication skills? So when we kind of are modeling our spoken language, ideally we can also be pairing that with an alternative form or multiple alternative forms of communication. Lots and lots of parents get really nervous about introducing AAC because they're worried that it's going to prevent their child from speaking. However, actually, looking at the research, it shows that it can really help promote that vocal communication. So don't be afraid to use it. Often it can be used alongside, or it can help to bridge the gap. And regardless, it's giving your child a voice to be able to communicate their wants and needs, which is so, so important and can benefit so many other areas. As I said, it can be a bit of a minefield. So there are some free applications that we use at Beyond Autism Early Years. So Let Me Talk is an iPad application where you can take photos or you can add symbols and they can use the device to speak out loud. Boardlet is a free app where you can again take photos, or it has inbuilt symbols and you can print those, cut them up, laminate them and use them to support your child's. There's also lots and lots of packages that you can buy offline. However, obviously they're going to be less personalized. So some children are fine with symbols and generic symbols, whereas some children find that individualization or the photos of their favorite items, they get that more. So again, every child's different, and it's working out what works for your child. Even if you don't feel confident supporting your child to use the AAC, they'll still benefit lots from you modeling it to them. And then hopefully you can work out ways where you can prompt them and you can see their motivation and you can encourage them to use it. However, if you're unsure, there might be some online support tools, or you might be able to find a professional that can help you work on the specifics and what your child needs to increase their independence with communication. Just a little note about bilingualism, because I know we have a lot of bilingual families who attend our service. Keep exposing them to both languages. So the research shows that children will benefit from that exposure. It can take them longer to learn because they're essentially learning to double the amount of vocabulary. However, research shows that children who are bilingual can be more flexible. And then visuals can be a really great way to bridge the gap. So that visual is the same in both languages. A picture of a ball is a picture of a ball in English and French and Spanish, etc. You can also provide their nursery or their childcare setting with a list of keywords in your language, which can help support them when they're not with you. Final point on communication is to offer choices. So I know Rachel mentioned choices a little bit, but if your child, if they can start to make their own choices, that can really help building that communication. Some children don't quite know how to make choices yet, and that's okay, we can teach them. So you might start with a preferred item and a non-preferred item, and then give the choice to them and see which one they choose. And if not, you can prompt them to choose the preferred one, because you know they're going to want the cake versus the apple, for example. I know I would. Then once they are able to make choices, we can start to hold the items back and see if they'll initiate gesturing or vocalizing what they want. With all communication, we want to gradually increase expectations with success. So we want to think about small, gradual steps and lots of reinforcement. Communication is something that's really hard for our children. So we want to make sure that we've got the support strategies in place to make it easy, which is why the alternative communication systems can be great, because they're visual, they're there, they can see them. And we just want to make sure we've got all of those scaffolds in place to allow the child to build their own voice and their confidence, whether that's asking for things that they want or telling us they don't want to do something, which is equally as important.
Thank you, Sarah. So our fourth point is noticing and celebrating progress. So we know it's easy to focus on what's not happening now, especially when you are waiting for an assessment or support. However, when we do notice and celebrate that progress that our child is making, we can make them feel seen, capable, and motivated to keep trying. And it also helps the carers or parents start to notice those little parts of the progress. So children tend to repeat what works and what gets noticed. So the more that you point out what's going well and what they're doing, the more that they are likely to actually engage in those same target behaviors. So when you say things like, I saw you waiting for your turn so nicely, you're reinforcing that skill. They're going to want to do it again. And it can be as simple as a smile, a hug, or a few words that show that they're doing something right. So you can do this through verbal praise. So be as specific as possible. I saw you waiting so nicely and very patiently, or I saw you showing me what you wanted. That was really good to see. Great telling me. You could also use visuals, so some visual recognition. So if this is something that you think that they would enjoy, use star charts or sticker charts, or even putting pictures up of the progress of their achievements that they're doing up on the fridge, up on the wall, but they can visually see how much progress and how much you're noticing those achievements that they're having. And share the celebrations with others. Say, Dad, did you see Sam cleaning up those toys all by himself? He did really well. Again, sharing it with other adults in the room or other siblings as well, again, will help them enjoy the achievements that they're making, and again, will make them want to do it more. So progress might look like one word or one fewer meltdowns or one extra word that they're using more or one smoother transition. So it can be small and hard to notice. So build in time to reflect back. Think about how your week has been. Think about how the day has gone. Has there been any small wins that maybe you didn't notice in the moment, but now on reflection that you say, oh, Sam did really well with this, whereas last week he didn't do so well with that. So again, just start reflecting back on the little progress that your child is making. And it's those small steps that build the bigger picture over time. And the aim is not for perfection, but it's for growth. We want to just see progress. We just want to see one step at a time that we're moving towards our goal. And also celebrate yourselves. We know how difficult it is, and we know how hard you guys are working and how much energy you guys are putting into your child to give them the best support that you can. So just notice yourself as well. Notice when you have reacted calmly to something, or notice when you used a new strategy as well that maybe you thought was a bit difficult or you wouldn't be able to use. Just celebrate at any opportunity and at every opportunity.
That segues really nicely because yes, don't forget about you. You are super important. So the fifth topic we're going to look at is finding what's available now. We know that it can be an incredibly challenging time for any family navigating their journey, and you don't have to do it alone. So find your village. That village might look slightly different to, what generations gone by villages might have looked like. That might be family, it might be friends, it might be local SEN play groups, it might be mental health support groups, or services like BeyondAutism Early Years, which is located in Bromley. So if you're local to Bromley, or if you're able to travel to us, then please do check out the website for how we can support you. And if not, have a look on your local authority local offer page. So this page, every local authority has one. It will be set up slightly differently. Some are easier to navigate than others, but they will highlight any services that might be available to you. So you should be able to filter by age, filter by location, or what kind of support you're looking for. But that will help you to find out and see whether there are any SEN support groups or SEN play groups that are available in your area. You can also use online forums such as Facebook groups or local apps that link with other families to be able to help or signpost you. There will be families in your area who are going through similar situations to you. And it's about finding them. And you might be able to find families who are slightly ahead on their journey than you are, and they might be able to tell you what's worked, what hasn't worked, or signpost you to organizations that can help you. Going back to you being important, you can't pour from an empty cup. So make sure you're putting yourself first. And if you're able to do that, then you'll be able to support your child better. I think making steps to do that is so hard. And I think parents often feel a lot of guilt. And, it is hard as a parent to find time to do that. But making sure that you're looking after yourself as well as looking after your little one. And finally, I think we've said it before, but I promise you, you're not alone. There are many families who are navigating similar situations to yours right now. So whether it's sleepless nights, navigating your child being really overwhelmed in public, applying for EHCPs, finding the right school, you name it, we know it's super stressful. And there's a whole community of parents out there who get it. So find those people close by that can help you. And hopefully there is some support that's available for you now.
We know it's you guys should feel it's normal to feel frustrated, anxious, or uncertain, but the strategies that we've discussed today are things that you can do right now. So connect through play, strengthen that relationship and engagement, create that predictability, create routines and consistent cues in their environments. Communication, notice and respond to all forms of communication, even if it's just eye contact. Celebrate success. Notice even the smallest achievements and efforts, and find that available support now. Don't forget about yourselves as well. Every time you follow your child's lead, every time you provide a predictable routine, every time you celebrate a success, and you're supporting their growth and you're supporting their well-being. And these give your child a very strong foundation whilst they're waiting for that support or that assessment. Giving them the right support now can help them feel understood, help them feel confident and capable as well. So every tiny consistent action that you guys are doing can lead to some meaningful improvements in their lives as well. And finally, take a deep breath. You guys are doing an amazing job. You guys should always celebrate yourselves, give yourselves a pat on the back, because you guys are amazing. And the things that you guys put into your children and the amount of support you give them is extraordinary. But by focusing on those small strategies, you're helping your child thrive and giving them the confidence along the way. Thank you for listening. We'll stop sharing the screen now and see if we have any questions.
So I don't think we can see any questions in the chat, but does anyone have anything that they would like to ask either of us?
Oh, here. Oh.
So most of the questions are around us being on mute at the beginning. So very sorry about the technical difficulties. But yeah, does anyone have any questions? Let us know, because we've got about 15 minutes or so that we're able to be here and answer them.
I don't think so.
Hopefully the fact that there's no questions means that we've covered everything thoroughly. We'll be sending, when you get the email with the recording, we'll send around a handout as well, so that you've got some of the
what we spoke about today as well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email us about any other questions that you have as well. Oh, we have one hand up. Hi, Isabella.
I think we need to unmute.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, this was amazing. Thank you so much. I have a little boy who is, we are waiting, and we've been waiting for quite some time now. But this little session, I won't say little, it's really helped, and I've picked a lot, which, all the things you said is just around is so like, but sometimes you don't know how to go about it or the approach to use. But I've got the very little one here as well. I just collected him from nursery. But whilst I'm attending to him, I'm listening. It's helped, and I've learned a lot. But then the problem I'm having now is how to find activities to send him, and it's I've been looking around. I don't know where to look, or I'm not looking well. I don't know, because I found one. I contacted them. They said they'll get back to me. They've never gotten back to me. I tried to use the address to locate the place. It was like a church building. They're using the church hall, and I went there. I didn't meet anybody. I've tried so many times. I can't get in touch because they offer different activities in the Greenwich Borough. But since you said I can find BeyondAutism, you offer activities. I don't know them. So when I go to the website, will I find maybe something for my little boy that I can be taking him to, just to help him?
So if you're Greenwich, you're obviously not too far from Bromley. So if you go onto the Beyond Autism Early Years website, which we'll send round in the link, you can request an initial assessment. So you'll come in and you'll meet with myself or one of the team, and then we'll give you an idea about when we can get started, etc. So all the information should be on our website to do that. In terms of finding other groups, search for the Greenwich local offer, and that should give you other options that are available in your area. There might also be Facebook groups, so you might find like a Greenwich SEN parent group or a Greenwich early years group, or have a look at, try some different phrases and see. I don't know Greenwich specifically. But in terms of other activities, lots and lots of places offer SEN friendly play sessions. So whether it's like the local trampoline park or local soft play, lots of them have SEN sessions, which can be a great place to then bump into other SEN parents who then might be able to give you those tips and, you know, point out different things that are available in your local area. So yeah, I don't know specifically for Greenwich, but hopefully that helps in terms of where to look.
And we'll also add, Beyond Autism has a directory that we kind of collect all people that we kind of meet, and people can put their information on our directory. So in the email that you'll get after this session, I'll make sure that we add that link to the directory as well. So you can just put in your postcode and age and what you're looking for, and hopefully you'll be able to find something there as well, Isabella.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well done too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think one more comment as well, just kind of related, but is try not to put too much pressure on yourself. Like, obviously we've covered a lot of strategies in a short period of time, but you don't have to do them all at once. Like, even by being here today at this talk, you're showing that you're showing up for your child and you're putting in everything you can possibly do to support them and support their needs. So, you know, pick one thing to start with. Small and steady really does win the race. And use the people around you. You don't feel like you have to take on everything yourself. So yeah. And
what you'll notice that some of you guys are already doing it, and we're literally just telling you, like, keep going with what you're doing. It's just, you guys are doing it already. We're just formally giving you a word or a name to put to it. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just pick one that you can start with, and then you'll find that everything else will kind of flow from there.
Perfect. Does anyone else?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Isabella.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Let's check this one.
Just going to double check in the.
I think there are new questions.
Oh, I'm going to let you do it.
What is the so someone's asked, what's the name of the app with the visual aids?
So there were two apps I mentioned. One is called Let Me Talk. And that is one that you can set up and it can become the child's voice. And then the other one that I mentioned is Boardlet. So BOARDLET. And that is creating free visual resources.
Another person's asked, is it worth getting a private speech therapist if you are struggling through NHS, as it's very expensive?
So we have lots of families that come to Beyond Autism Early Years, and some have private speech therapists, some don't. I think depending what local authority you're in and what the local authority offer you, it might be different, because some local authorities offer you 2 group sessions of speech and language therapy. And if you know your child doesn't learn in a group, then that might be quite hard for them to access, whereas a private therapist might be able to tailor the sessions to your child more. Obviously, though, things can get expensive very quickly. So I think it's, seeing what's available to you that's free or low cost, and thinking about what resources you have. Because obviously, if you have the resources and the availability, then private therapists you often have to wait less time for, and you get what you pay for, essentially. But you shouldn't have to go privately. There should be support available through the NHS. And then it's also worth remembering that once, obviously lots of you at the moment are really early on your journey. So it's unlikely that many of the children will have EHCPs or education, health and care plans. Those are, their children are eligible for them between 0 and 25, but usually with an autism diagnosis, most children will be getting them around 4 or 5 years old when they're going to school. So it's worth bearing in mind that once they get that EHCP, you can get therapy, so speech and language therapy or occupational therapy included within that. So yeah, lots of those things can come, because it shouldn't have to be that you have to pay for them. However, some families do find that it is helpful, especially if they have the resources.
And just make sure that they're certified, and you're looking at references as well if you're going private. If you are going to spend that money, just make sure that they are professional, they're certified, they're doing the right things, so that you're spending your money well as well. I think that's it.
I think that's it as well.
Oh. So the app again for visual, someone's asked for it to say.
Let me type it into the chat, because it might be easier to read it. So those are the two apps that I mentioned. So I'm sure there's lots and lots of other apps out there. And again, with apps, there's lots of free ones and lots of paid for ones. These are just some free ones that either parents have recommended to me or that I've used myself.
Perfect. Thank you guys all for attending, and we hope to see you within our next Lunch and Learn.
Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yes. Bye. Bye.